There was a man named Caleb who spent a long time waiting for his life to change. He did not wait in one dramatic season only. He waited in many small seasons. He waited while he prayed for work. He waited while he tried to become stronger inside. He waited while he hoped for peace in his home. He waited while he wondered whether the good things he believed in would ever arrive. Some days he felt strong, but many days he felt tired. He did not say this to everyone. He kept much of it inside because he did not want to look weak. But inside, he was carrying more than people knew. When Caleb was younger, he believed life would move faster than it did. He thought hard work would quickly bring results. He thought good choices would quickly lead to good outcomes. He thought prayer would always be answered in the same season it was spoken. But years taught him that life has its own rhythm. Some doors do not open when people first knock. Some answers come after a long silence. Some blessings need more time than the human heart wants to give them. At first, Caleb thought that waiting only took things away from him. He felt it taking away time. He felt it taking away confidence. He felt it taking away hope. He looked at other people and thought they were moving ahead while he was stuck in the same place. He thought his waiting was proof that something was wrong with him. He thought maybe he had missed a step, or maybe his life was simply one of the lives that had to remain behind. That thought hurt him more than he admitted. But waiting was not doing only one thing. While he thought it was taking from him, it was also building something in him. He did not notice this at first. It happened slowly. It happened in small things. It happened in the way he stopped reacting so quickly when life became hard. It happened in the way he began to think more before speaking. It happened in the way he learned to listen more carefully to the people around him. It happened in the way he became more patient with his younger sister when she asked for help. It happened in the way he started doing his work more carefully, even when no one was watching. These were not huge signs, but they mattered. They were signs that his waiting was shaping him. One evening, after another long and quiet day, Caleb sat alone on the front steps of his home. The street was still. The sky was dark. The air was calm. He had just finished another day that felt ordinary on the outside, but heavy on the inside. He had tried to keep going, but the waiting had made him restless again. He looked at the ground and felt that familiar question rise inside him. How much longer? He had asked that question many times before. That night, though, he felt a different thought answer him from deep inside. Your waiting was not empty. It was building what you are about to carry. The thought did not come like a loud voice. It came like a quiet understanding. He sat there still for a long time because the words felt heavier than he expected. He had spent so long looking at the delay as punishment that he had not seen the hidden purpose inside it. He had been asking for something greater, but he had not realized that greatness often needs a stronger person to hold it. That was the beginning of a new way of thinking. Caleb started looking back at his life with more honesty. He remembered the times he had almost given up. He remembered the nights he had cried in silence. He remembered the disappointments that made him feel small. He remembered the doors that closed. He remembered the people who let him down. At first, these memories only reminded him of pain. But then he saw something else. He saw how each one had changed him. He saw how each delay had made him more careful, more humble, more serious, more grounded. He saw that he was no longer the same person who had started this journey. The waiting had stretched him. That is what waiting does when it is carried with faith. It stretches the heart so it can hold more. It stretches the mind so it can understand more. It stretches the spirit so it can endure more. A person may not enjoy the stretch, but the stretch is often what prepares them for the load that comes later. Caleb began to understand this slowly. He saw that if he had received everything too soon, he might not have been ready to manage it. He might have wasted it. He might have become proud. He might have been crushed by responsibility. He might have let opportunity slip because his character was not ready to support it. This thought changed how he viewed the hard years. They were no longer meaningless. They were preparing. He remembered a season when he prayed for more money. At that time, he thought more money would fix everything. He thought it would bring peace to his mind and relief to his family. But as he looked back, he saw that if money had come before maturity, it might have caused even more trouble. He would not have known how to handle it. He would not have known how to save, how to plan, how to give, or how to stay humble. Waiting had taught him a better kind of wealth first. It taught him discipline. It taught him patience. It taught him how to live with less and still keep his spirit clean. That was valuable training. He also remembered a time when he prayed for a better relationship. He wanted someone to understand him, to support him, to bring warmth into his life. But looking back, he saw that he needed healing before he could carry that kind of closeness well. He had old pain. He had hidden fear. He had trust issues. If love had come before healing, he might have broken it. Waiting had built something inside him that made him more ready for a healthy connection. It had taught him how to be honest, how to be gentle, and how to stop demanding from others what only God could complete in him. Over time, Caleb started to see waiting as training. That word made more sense to him than delay. The delay sounded empty. Training sounded purposeful. He had spent too many years calling it the wrong name. Now he understood that God was not wasting a season. God was shaping him through it. As he changed his thinking, his daily life changed too. He became more responsible with the things in front of him. He woke earlier. He handled his tasks with more care. He stopped treating small opportunities like they were too small to matter. He began to understand that a person who cannot be faithful in small things cannot be trusted easily with larger ones. So he paid attention to the small things. He cleaned what needed to be cleaned. He finished what needed to be finished. He showed up where he was needed. He learned to be useful even in simple places. This did not happen because he suddenly became perfect. It happened because waiting had softened the part of him that wanted fast results without process. He no longer wanted only the final blessing. He wanted to become the kind of man who could carry it well. That became more important to him than he had ever imagined. There were still hard days. Waiting did not stop being waiting just because he understood it better. Some mornings he still felt the old ache. Some nights the questions still came back. Some moments he still looked around and thought he was behind. But now those thoughts did not own him the way they used to. He could recognize them. He could set them aside. He could answer them with truth. He could remind himself that what feels slow is not always lost. He could remind himself that hidden work is still work. One day a small opportunity came his way. It was not the final thing he had been praying for, but it was a step forward. In the past, he might have dismissed it because it was not big enough. But now he saw that many great things begin as small openings. He accepted the opportunity and treated it with care. He learned quickly. He stayed humble. He did not rush to prove himself. He simply did the work. That attitude made a difference. As he grew through that opportunity, he realized that the waiting had built more than patience. It had built restraint. It had built wisdom. It had built humility. It had built a stronger back for the weight he was about to carry. He could now handle responsibility without losing peace in the same way he once would have. He could make decisions without panic. He could receive progress without getting lost in pride. He could carry pressure without becoming bitter. This was the part he had not seen before. The waiting was not just about what he wanted. It was about who he needed to become in order to hold it. That is a hard truth, but it is a loving one. Many people pray for more and do not realize that more requires a larger inner container. More responsibility requires more maturity. More influence requires more discipline. More blessing requires more gratitude. More opportunity requires more character. Waiting is often the season where God builds that container. Caleb began to speak less about how long it was taking and more about what it was teaching him. He had not become a man who enjoyed suffering. He had simply become a man who understood that nothing is wasted when God is working in a heart that is willing to learn. He had learned to ask better questions. Instead of only asking, "Why is this taking so long?" he began asking, "What is this doing to me? What is being formed here? What is being removed? What is being strengthened? What is being healed?" Those questions changed everything. He saw that some of the impatience in his heart had been pride. He had wanted his timeline to move the way he wanted. He had wanted his prayers answered on his schedule. He had wanted life to make sense quickly. But waiting taught him that God is not rude with time. God is wise with time. He is not late. He is preparing. That understanding became a comfort to him. He also saw that waiting had made him kinder to others. He stopped judging people who were struggling. He stopped mocking those who seemed slow. He stopped measuring people by their speed. He understood that every person is in a process. Some are waiting for healing. Some are waiting for provision. Some are waiting for direction. Some are waiting for peace. Some are waiting to understand what God is doing. He had been there, so he became gentler. A change happened in his home too. His family noticed that he was less easily shaken. His younger sister saw that he listened more. His mother saw that he was calmer. He did not complain as much. He did not react with the same frustration. He began to carry himself like a person who had learned something in the dark. They might not have known all the details, but they could see the difference. Waiting had not only shaped his private thoughts, it had shaped the atmosphere around him. The deeper he went into that understanding, the more thankful he became. He realized that the waiting season had protected him in ways he had never seen. Some roads had not opened because he would have been too weak to handle them. Some people had left because they were not meant to stay. Some losses had made room for better things. Some closed doors had saved him from greater pain. He no longer saw his story as one long denial. He saw mercy hidden inside it. That mercy gave him peace. He still wanted the promises he had prayed for. He still longed to see certain things come alive in his life. But now he no longer treated the waiting as a curse. He treated it as a gift with a hard wrapping. The gift was in what it was doing to him. It was teaching him how to carry weight with grace. It was teaching him how to stand tall without becoming proud. It was teaching him how to trust even when the path was not clear. One afternoon, he sat with an older man in his neighborhood who had lived through many seasons of hardship and rebuilding. The older man did not speak in complicated words. He simply said that most people want the harvest, but they do not want the months of hidden growth under the soil. Caleb understood that deeply. He had wanted visible progress, but he had not fully valued the hidden growth. The roots had to go down before the fruit could come up. The base had to be strong before anything could be lifted. The inside had to be formed before the outside could be trusted. That image stayed with him. He began to see himself like a tree that had spent years growing roots where no one could see. The roots were not impressive to people who only look at the surface, but roots are what hold the tree during storms. Roots are what feed it. Roots are what allow it to bear fruit later. Caleb realized that his waiting had been deepening his roots. After that, he stopped comparing his life to people who looked farther ahead. He had done enough of that already. Comparison had only made him feel behind. Now he knew that his path was different. His season was different. His growth was different. He did not need to copy anyone else's pace. He needed to keep becoming ready for what was his. That thought brought freedom. He also became more faithful in prayer, but his prayers changed shape. Before, he prayed mostly for things to happen. Now he prayed for strength to carry what would come. He prayed for a pure heart. He prayed for wisdom. He prayed for the ability to handle success without losing gratitude. He prayed for peace in the middle of waiting. He prayed for maturity before increase. Those prayers showed that his heart had changed. He no longer only wanted the door. He wanted to be ready when the door opened. And doors did begin to open, little by little. A better opportunity appeared in his work life. A strained relationship began to heal. A burden he had carried for years began to loosen. He still had more growing to do, but there was movement now. Not because life suddenly became easy, but because he had become more prepared for it. He understood this now. The waiting had not been the enemy. It had been the craftsman. Caleb's story teaches a quiet truth that many people need to hear. We often ask God to hurry, but God is often busy building the very thing we will need to survive and steward the blessing we are asking for. Waiting can feel like nothing is happening, but in God's hands, waiting is often where the most important work is being done. It is where patience grows. It is where pride is broken. It is where faith becomes real. It is where character becomes strong enough to carry purpose. So if you're still waiting, do not assume you're being forgotten. You may be being formed. You may be being strengthened. You may be learning how to hold what you cannot yet see. The weight you will carry later requires the wisdom you are learning now. The blessing you are asking for needs the character you are building now. The open door may come, but the waiting is teaching your hands how to hold it. That is why this story matters. The waiting is not wasted. The silent season is not empty. The delay is not the end. It may be the very place where God is building the heart, the mind, and the strength you will need for what is next. Many people want to escape the waiting, but later they realize the waiting was making them ready. It was training them to carry more without breaking, to receive more without losing peace, and to walk into the next season with wisdom. Caleb learned this in time. He learned that what felt like delay was really design. He learned that the long road had given him strong legs. He learned that the quiet years had given him a deeper spirit. He learned that waiting had prepared him to carry what he once prayed for. And when the day came for him to step forward, he was no longer the same man who had once only asked, "How much longer?" He had become the man who could say, "Thank you for building me while I waited." That is the message of his life. Your waiting was building what you are about to carry.